Hi. Sorry. Is it dark enough for this? Or should we, is that okay? Okay, so I was thinking we'll just show you how the two of us create a piece of art together by showing this little video first, and then we'll go more into detail of our work. But just real quick, this video that you'll be seeing now is one canvas we painted in San Francisco last year. And that was last year. Maybe you do the rest of the talking. So let's just go ahead.
This video shows pretty good how our process works. And you see it's not 50-50, it's more like 30-70. And it's actually an unusual surface, because actually we came from graffiti, and walls are where we came from. We painted walls, and yeah, but this is the way how we show our work inside of a gallery, painted on canvases.
And so one thing, I don't know how much you know about us, but we use spray paint as the #1 material. And when we started as graffiti kids. So our parents didn't really like what we were doing, and there was no career for what we did. So it was really just us being a little rebellious. And now we make a living of this, and it's quite a surprise for us. But it's really one thing. We'll show you now a couple of things that all started from a hobby. So I don't know how many of you already, are artistic or paint or I don't know, express yourself creatively. But I can just tell you, it was one of our favorite things in our spare time, so it was a favorite hobby, and now it became a full-time occupation, and it's a really nice life. So, and we travel all over the world doing this, and I'd like to show you one thing that we're actually now doing on the wall. No, show the Toronto video. So this is the video we're now showing, it's the same process that you witnessed before. We do outlines, I do the rough stuff, and he adds the details that look like photos. But we now will do it in that video we're showing. We'll do it on a wall. So this wall was part of a book we're working on. It's a children's book, and it was done in a mural done in Toronto last year. It was really cold. You should talk a little bit about. I really don't know what you guys do. Just here in the front row, what do you study? Well, it's design. So okay, so you all do something artistic? Yes. Okay. Then we're all okay. All friends, we're all colleagues. So that's okay. That's really good. So I don't know about how. Okay, can we put mine in now? So I don't know if you've ever tried to work with another person. It's really something everyone should try, and for that you should choose someone who uses a very different technique than the other one does, so that you do not do the same stuff, but you just add on to the other one's qualities. So so this is my messy. This is what I prepared for you, and I'm just gonna go through a couple of things now. So I think the best way to explain how our work can be done is, and you've seen the process of actually painting, but usually it starts with sketches. And I'm picking sketches now from the storybook we're working on. Can you see this? Sketches. You've all done that before, right? Just really simple. And it's really, it's studies. So you think of someone or something and you find the best proportions for that person, and you try painting that person from every angle. When it comes to that work, I do that. When it comes to colors, he comes in. So what I do next is I'd sketch out something I do on canvas. And everything here that's realistic, you know, the eyes and the lips, everything that looks like it has, you know, light falling onto it, that's...
Blue light and shadow situation. Why we don't have a second mic? Why it's the mic there?
Oh,
So
okay.
I only need to sit here and wait.
Okay, sorry.
No. I want to have the mic now. So, but I don't want to say something at the moment, so I give it back and wait for my microphone.
Okay. So when you work with someone, be aware of being interrupted. Horrible. I don't know what to do. So maybe this is
now
a
I
good...
can say something.
Okay. So this is a symbol for us, our work process, the 70 and 30.
Oh, you mean I'm on your arm now?
Yeah, you're the chameleon.
I'm a little ugly.
Yeah, no. But this is, I want to introduce this character, or the both of them. She is a symbol for creativity. We came up with her after working for 9 years in a dialogue, and we tried to create something that is as wild as the stuff that's going on in our mind. And we took her through different cities and painted different walls. I'll show you something. It started all in Berlin, really. This was the sketch for the situation. So it's basically this little girl. She's not really in touch with reality. So everyone here in the room probably knows how that feels. You're so much inside your head. Hey, stop it.
Yeah.
So you're so much inside your head that sometimes you just make up reality. So she builds the things that she wants around herself. So this thing that I just showed you was the start of, an installation. Installation means you install something in a room. The end of it looked like this. So we painted her on cardboard and put her in the middle of the room, right?
That's right, and this is a good sample for actually how we work. We as a duo, as a team, we are already a collage, and it's also the way how we work together. So, and that's we like all materials which already tell a story, and that's the reason why we choose cardboard and old wood and things like this. So it fits to our aesthetic.
Yeah. So the big room, it looked like this. It's super messy, and just to give you an idea of how tall this was, this is us standing in front of it. So it's really tall. We like tall and big things because, you know, when you grow up, you have the small room. Everything you do is always on little pieces of paper. But it's so nice to paint big with the full body because it's really like dancing. It's you dance with your brush in your hand and the paint, and it's something that is so exhausting that you really feel good after it. It's like going to the club. It's just with an outcome, not just with a headache. So everyone of you should try that. Please, at some point of your life, take a brush and color and go to a wall no one cares about, or just get cardboard from a store and just try it. Because most of the things don't look really good that you do in the beginning, but it's just such a great feeling. So yeah, that was one thing. So, and then we carried on taking our character and we named her Lily, like the flower. Oh, wait, this is how the installation starts. So we have the big piece of cardboard, and this was the box where I think a TV screen was in. So those are really good. If you want to find big boxes, go to where they sell TVs. And then I did the sketches and he did, again, the realistic stuff. It's really good to team up with someone who knows things that you don't, who can do things that you can't do.
They're too lazy for.
Yeah, right. So, so we took Lily to Lexington, Kentucky. Why Lexington, Kentucky? Well, the thing is, we've been spray painting since 2004, spray painting, graffiti, so we have been beautifying cities. And
So we sprayed together since 2004. We both was working already since this time.
yeah, he wants to say that he already was a famous graffiti artist
I don't want to
in
say.
2004.
No, but we didn't start. It was not our
Yes,
first time.
yes, okay. Yeah, he's right. So we painted as Herakut in 2000, for 9 years now, really long time, and
First 8 years was horrible.
Okay, so a lot of different communities, artist communities all over the world, NGOs, I mean like non-profit organizations, dealing with beautifying a city, they know about our work. And they know that we will support them and make their cities a little bit more colorful when they can pay for our flights. So basically, it's when they approach us and say, we have a nice wall in a very ugly spot, so many kids pass by it when they go to school, can you just please come and inspire our youth to not only keep the talent to themselves, but actually go and share their talent? We'll be there. So this was a spot, and we painted our little lily, and then we had this entire story with monkey friends and the little chameleon in there. So you know how it happens. You start at one point and it just runs wild. And what happened was we really liked the story so much, and the entire city worked with us on this. So kids would come by and say, hey, what's in that tree? And we're like, what tree? Like, well, the brown thing. Like, oh yeah, that's a tree. So, you know, you just start picking up stuff when you work outdoors, and people come by and say, is that a fly? And it's like, well, it's a horse fly, you know, like, so I'll show you the horse fly. It's a horse with fly wings, and we worked on this more. So we actually took it home to us and put it in the computer, like, you know how to do it. Your colleagues. So then it becomes, it was a wall, but now it becomes a graphic for our future book. It's not going to be out this year, but you know, giant storybook project will be out next year. And so this was one thing. Then also, here's another character that we created. She's called the Moon Goddess. When we took this one into modification, it became this. So I like that. Ooh. So this is one thing of how you can work from the wall to illustration. But there's also another way to make your, you know, ideas live longer, which is go from wall to canvas. I'll show you some samples for that. You can say something about that. So, oh no, wait, I have to brag, okay? I have to brag because we painted a really nice wall last year in Miami, and I just have to show you this. This was the process of that one. Well, these are the lifts. We use lifts because it's just really high up. And you know scaffolding, right? You can have a scaffold in front of a wall. It's so annoying to walk up and down the scaffold.
But it's a good exercise. No, but for our kind of work, it doesn't work with the scaffolding. We need to, actually the whole machine is like an extension of our arm. Something like this, yeah.
Yeah. So we actually do paint with rollers, and we do not paint with projections. So we go and freestyle everything. You go there, you bring enough paint, and you start. You can see how tiny we are in those machines.
We are still tiny.
Yeah, and well, how big the wall is. Let's put it this way. So we were working. This was the sketch, by the way, for the painting. And actually, sometimes when you work for a city, or not for the city, but when you work in the city,
you need to show them something before.
Yeah, because they want to make sure they will not hate what you do. So this was the final outcome. Can you see? Yeah, it was really, really, really big. Remember how small we were. So I really like this one. And I have to brag because it's the dream of a wall. I mean, this is such a nice thing. When you think about it, we came from painting on paper, small size, and then you have a wall like this. It's just so much fun. And so much muscle ache. And the modified version was then the one that's going to be in the book. What is this? So we actually added another character in there, and it's the goddess, the moon goddess. We always use symbols. So obviously the moon goddess only appears when it's night. That's when people sleep. So she is the one giving putting dreams into people's minds. So that's another character that we're working on. But I wanted to show you the canvas stuff now, and you can talk about that. So wait. Canvases. Should I open all of them?
Yeah. So the first few canvases, which you will see now, are part of our last exhibition, solo exhibition in Melbourne, Australia. And yeah, if we go closer to the rest of our artwork, then you will see that that there's every time something like a connection to the place where we paint. Our work is actually dialogue, but if we go to a place and work there, then we open the conversation to the place, the location where we are. And we appreciate it much more to, if we have an exhibition in any city, to go a couple of weeks earlier and work there. And especially this situation was in the German winter, so it was a fun to get the Australian summer there. Yeah, you see it's
Aboriginal.
Aboriginal, yeah. And also some funny animals which we found there.
Yeah, like that one.
Yeah.
That's the wombat. It's so cute. We love animals because I think we love watching things move. And you can just look at animals and watch them. So all should go to the zoo because they won't think, wait a minute, why is the person watching me? Like when you watch people, they usually don't like that so much, but animals don't care. And that's actually where we started our work because we would always draw as children, but we would draw a lot of animals. And this one, maybe you've noticed that in a lot of our pieces we have writing. So the writing is that's the other stuff. So the writing, let's for example say with here, can sometimes be really big, sometimes small, but we use the symbols, we use the people, colors, everything we paint communicates, and the writing is always another added level of communication. And if we could add one more, we'd probably put a soundtrack to the canvas. So when you stand in front of it, you can listen to the music we thought of. So some of the messages in here, for example, this one. They come from songs that we really love. I don't know if you know the band Atmosphere. It's a hip hop thing from the States. They're not that good anymore, but they used to be really good. And there was this song. It's a rap song, and in that rap song, he says, "Hush, little lady, don't say a word, or the rest of the village is gonna know you're disturbed." So it's a little bit like, don't talk about your crazy thoughts, or everyone will be like, don't talk to her, she's weird. So we we like to take children because they're so pure and plain, and then add little symbols animal symbols that everyone in the world can understand, because everyone really knows the personality of an animal. And we recently started to work, not recently really, we just started again to rediscover working with different fabrics on canvas. So we showed you the installation, which is working on with different fabrics and material in one big room. But now we're working with this on, there it is, on one canvas. So for example, in my free time, I cut out hundreds of stars out of canvas. And I glued them all together and sewed them together. So we would have this canvas in the end. It's a little insane because there were hundreds of stars. But
the thing is, we started to using different materials for characters is that my part of the work, this realistic part, takes so long that we, if we paint outside our walls, then we, it's a different if you spend a whole half day on the leather and paint it in 3 meters up. So that's the reason why we start painting on any surface which we can, which is mobile and which we can install later on. So and that's, I think the logical next step was to use also the same technique on canvases.
Yeah.
And actually, the first show which we made with this kind of collage artwork was more something like a recycling show where we choose all canvases which we still had at home, and we stitch them together and play with this. It's a funny process.
I mean, stitching together is a really good word. So see this canvas, it has so many layers. All of those things are one old canvas on top of the other, on top of the other, then taking a needle and thread. And this, for example, the writing, I do the writing. So I cut it out, the white is cardboard, and I stitched it to the canvas. So it's really time consuming, but it has something like meditation, because you have to control the needle. And in this example, all the butterflies on there were cut out butterflies. So all of them were put on top. So when you walk around it, there's this 3D effect. It's really, you should all try it. It's so much fun.
Yeah, it's a nice mix. It's not only a painting, it's more, it's a bridge between a painting and installation or a sculpture, something like this.
So this one right here now, we put in a store in Shanghai 2 weeks ago. Actually, I can show you some images from there, because that's another thing. So when you work like we do, pretty much freestyle, work with recycling, work with whatever, you can design or do the store design or interior design in so many different places. So I think, is it here? No, where did the thing go? You put it here, where was it?
This, yeah. No. It's still on the stick here.
Okay, we're very organized. Damn! Oh wait, no, I think I have it here. It's right here. Okay, but this is too big now. Does this work?
Yeah.
But it's so big.
Yeah, why are you opening it this way?
I don't know, this is so big, this is not good. Okay. Wait. Okay, I'm not the technical expert.
Then
But
let's
this
do
is
it in
okay.
another way, okay.
Yeah, that's photos from Hong Kong and the last job. Where is it? Oh yeah, so we went to buy fabric, not that fabric. We took a whole bunch of photos from everything we went to, because that always goes into our work. And we love cats, but I told you already. So when we started, this is how we started that in that store. We built an architecture out of paper. He did it. Actually, he built it. And then here you see one of the prints from the canvases I showed you earlier. And then, cut out stars. You can see here, this is how our installation work can function in a big space. You remember her? Now she is, I like this. So see, it really takes over. It starts from paper, and then it just takes over the whole room. You can, without really the cheapest material, you can build a whole nice world.
Uh-oh. No.
It's okay. You know what? I want to go to something else. I'll show you something that's sort of fun, because what you can also do is then take everything together and put it in a little film thingy, like a little. Can we turn on my sound?
No.
I'm sure you all know how to do animation, right? Well, you will, because you go to school and you still have time to learn. So, but we're not experts in any of this, which is so important, because it's nice to be an amateur. You can only surprise people in a good way. So let's watch this and hope the sound works. It's already, yay, I'm loud. Sorry. So yeah, it's we don't want to bore you too much, but should I show one last thing maybe?
Yeah.
Yes. No, but
Which one?
so now you saw we play around with different mediums and go 3D, well, three-dimensional as far as we can with installations. But last year we did something with a dance group, a performance, a dance company in Los Angeles. So we made costumes for dancers, and they actually danced with those. Oh, it's right here. So, this is, I don't have the video file, but I just show you the way our vision looked on dancers. And you can just imagine really nice music and actually some fire on stage. They were working with flames. We were working on stage with them at the same time, spraying with aerosol paint while they're working with fire. So it was really a very risky thing. Yeah, don't try that at home. So this was a chicken mom. This was a unicorn. We built everything there. So the whole big thing that you see, it's something inspired from a painting we did. And I built that myself out of tape. Okay, so masking tape. Haha, masking, mask, tape. But you can really do it. It's easy. It's easy and it's so light. So all of those guys, everything you see, we created the costumes within 3 weeks. No, within 2 weeks. And we had a seamstress working on the designs because we would draw the outfits, and we would also do the makeup when it was time for stage. Just one little hint: she's a frog, and you know how the Grimm story, the fairy tale, the princess that kisses the frog and all. So we made her a frog princess. So the mix between a frog and a princess, because we were thinking, so okay, what happens if the frog and the princess have a child? So how does that look? So that's her. Oh yeah, that's me actually on stage painting. I'm also wearing a costume. That's not my usual outfit, but yeah, I made a rat. You will see we have our books out there. One of the things that we love is to use the symbol, the rat, for the two of us, because the rats are always there in the city. No one really, you rather look away, you don't really pay attention, but we pay a lot of attention to everything that happens. So we're underground. Oh yeah.
Actually, the red is the symbol for street art.
Yeah.
And a lot of other street art people use it also. And actually, I think it's got also something to do with that's the letters of art inside. Red art.
Interesting.
Is it oxymoron? What is it? No.
I don't know. It's really here. You need to work on collaboration partners. You have to find collaboration partners. If you want to progress with your work, always look for collaboration partners in other genres also. If someone does the same thing like you, no good. But a dancer, musician, I don't know, someone making fashion, just all of this stuff is always so good, because then you can bridge and you can just do bigger things. They were pretty good dancers.
But the nice thing was also that at the same time as we working on this show and these costumes and all the stuff, we working also on our exhibition in Los Angeles, which was 1 week later. So we had all of them in costumes
Come to our show.
It was a very impressive show for us.
Right. Should I show you? Okay, no, wait. We'll talk now. The one thing maybe is I have some sculptures I could share with you. So remember, oh yeah, the costumes here. They also work as sculptures. Very simple again. All that I use for making the sculptures is trash. That started out when I was moving into a new place, and I had a lot of nails and screws and wires lying around and a lot of tape again. So I just took all this stuff, taped around it and made it stand up. And I did a sketch before, or sometimes freestyle. So I don't know, can you see this? Sorry. Or here. It's a little skinny thing, and you can spray paint it gold and it looks so valuable. Or you make something like this. That's me dressing up as a deer, but I have a gun, so I'm like, yeah, you come, you hunter, I'll kill you. And then you can make the stuff, you can carry it around. and take photos. Or wait for your guests. Well, actually, that's another fun part. Yeah, there's the skinny guy again. There's another one hiding in the closet. It has a bad habit of smoking. That's from him. But about the guests, I mean, it's really true. Sometimes we combine all this, everything we do, and we just have a nice party. So that's another very important thing about art, okay? Don't forget to party. People expect it from artists. But no, it's just really the great thing is when you work with different collaboration partners, like musicians, for example, you just invite them to your opening. Next thing is, so they will get some airplay. I mean, people will hear them play. Next thing is you paint their what's it called, LP cover or CD cover or something, and you just help each other out. So this is one thing we always did, is not work for money, but work for connections. It just work for just having fun with other creatives, really. And the last really big thing that took us to Kathmandu. It's not a place for family holiday, but it's actually one of those places that really, really needs some art. Because in Kathmandu, for example, there is a lot of stuff painted on the walls, but it's all political. It's always slogans. So when I went there with this character, what did they say? They were asking if this was a new party. If I was from some party, like art party. Falk took those photos, so that's why he's never on them. Sorry. Oh, here is one. So this is us painting in Kathmandu. And dressing up, like the locals. Yeah, he didn't blend in at all. Everyone was staring at him because men don't carry stuff on their head, especially white men, but he did it with pride. And another thing is what we do. I told you that we use writing. What's so important is that you actually write in the language of the country you want to communicate with. So we have learned many different languages. We can't talk them, we can write. But, we can speak them, we can write. But so here, for example, this is one thing that we painted while there was a strike going on. And it says in Nepali, love your brother. Because it's an easy message, but it gets, people forget it. This is another one. Can you please build something stable for me? Because I'm your future. That's what the kid says. And actually, maybe that's a good tie to what we're doing here in the store, fully booked store on Fort, right? And you should all come and check it out because we went around Manila and we were looking for inspiration and we were looking for what is it that we can, as outsiders, name as the one really inspiring, interesting thing about this country and this city, and introduce to the rest of our international fans. So you should all come and see what we did there because it's definitely something that we found is absolutely Filipino. So I'm not telling you what it is. Yeah. I think that should be it right now, huh? I'm sure you don't have any questions, but please pretend so we don't feel stupid. Just come up with something and direct it to him.
Individually.
Yeah, definitely we paint walls, and but since we paint together, it's our main project to be Herakut. I came from okay. I came from a very traditional graffiti background, and I started with a group named Maclaim, and yeah, it's still our family, but we all turn a little older, so and then we need to. It needs to fit in our schedule, and at the moment only Jasmine fits in my schedule.
So My boyfriend is also a graffiti writer, also from his crew, from Acclaim, and he's one of those guys who actually still do trains. So we're still very close to the ones who work not for fame, I mean not for international fame, not for money, not for commercial things, just for the adrenaline. But I do worry a little bit about him. So no, it's just no. But for us right now, it's, I have to say, too easy to find really nice walls. So why bother? You know what I mean? So when you do something like this, for example, this is a wall we did in Mexico City, DFO. So many people saw this wall. So it's just kind of like when you get the chance to do a huge wall, everything else that you can just do, just like graffiti kids do with a little ladder, it's no fun anymore.
No, the thing is, actually we don't need to go out at night. So, and our next wall will be in Frankfurt, and yeah, to get this wall, we can use other sources. So actually, the mayor is on our side, so it's something else now.
Yeah,
And
it's actually so strange. Think about it. The mayor. I mean, the mayor of a city. So that's so cool now. So we're really super happy because they would, back then, they would hate us or chase us or, you know, I don't know.
especially in a city like Frankfurt, graffiti-wise, got the zero tolerance politic till yet. So, and we will be the first ones who paint a huge mural in the middle of in the center of the city.
Right. And here, for example, this is one that is in Tel Aviv, Israel. We would have, I mean, when you go to a country like this, you can't just bomb. You can't just paint a wall. You will never come back. You won't. Okay, answer? Anyone? You can ask him.
I think we don't need a microphone in the middle. Actually, the proportions are mostly based on Jasmine's aesthetic sense and her drawing lines. And if we add the photorealistic part in it, we mostly use us as photo references. So a lot of these characters got the nose and the mouth from Jasmine and my eyes. So that's just our little kids. Do you want to say something?
Yeah, the thing is, it's not really about us wanting to put ourselves up there.
But we don't have money for real models.
Yeah. But any volunteer, you know, just come and send your photos. Anyone? I always win. No, it's okay. Actually, he's really he reads a lot. So when we have coffee in the mornings, because when we work in a studio, we'll always work there for a couple of days until we go back into our normal lives. And then he will tell me something crazy that he read, and then we'll be talking about it. And that's when we say, maybe other people will find this interesting. So we have a dialogue, and then we go to a wall and we open up our thoughts. And you know, when you paint outside on a wall, sometimes people add something. So they take a spray paint and they add something. So back in the days when I was just painting by myself, guys really didn't appreciate when I painted really tall women. So graffiti guys would just add something with their spray cans on my huge girls, and it would always be a penis. So I was thinking, I guess they just can't handle women in their scene, but yeah, but it's fun. I mean, it's whatever you get back from the outside world, it just opens your mind and makes you think around the corner.
Yeah, and our start before we teamed up was not the smoothest one. It was very edgy because we both came from not really pure original graffiti backgrounds, and I started with fictional graffiti in a time where fictional graffiti was only figurative graffiti was only something on the side, which is a little decoration for the lettering things. And we had for Jasmine also. She's not a macho, but it's neat in the scene. You know what I mean? It's
I'm not a guy.
You're not a guy, and so we all had our hard times till somebody start to appreciate what we made.
Oh yeah, right. First, when we did graffiti, and it looked like this, they would be, you guys, you know, this is a graffiti event. What you do is art. And we'd really be thinking, oh, sorry, where should we go now? But that's, here's one thing I want to share with you. These are two canvases. I think this one is more important. Well, I'll show you both, but the one with that's more important. This is what it sometimes feels like when you have too much information, I think. And then the spray paint is, with all that pressure, is actually really, I have to tell you, it's such an outlet. Because when you paint with the spray paint, it forces you to say something really fast. So it forces you to be super honest. And you cannot take the eraser. So it's really good. So all our work is based on experiences like being treated unfair or being just, like hated because we don't do graffiti, or I don't know. Just so we would always use the energy as the next idea. And there's one thing I just thought of it right now. It really fits with this topic. It's a canvas that we painted after we felt like one of the gallery owners who worked with us didn't treat us right. So you might know this. You've seen this before. So here's a sketch on one side, and then there's the canvas on the other side. And I'll make this a little bigger because this was a story of when we started to actually sell our work, because first it was graffiti, you cannot really sell a wall. But this was one of the canvases we did, and we felt like those two guys who are not writing. Okay, so we felt like a horse. So we felt like someone is on our backs and is taking control over our artwork. And it was a very negative feeling we had, but we turned it around and made this nice canvas. So whatever you have interaction with stupid teacher who doesn't get it, or parents or girlfriend, boyfriend, you go through it, you don't cry, or okay, you cry but not too long, and then you make a painting. And those are the strongest ones. So that's so much better than thinking, oh, what can I paint today? Maybe something from the news. But no, just paint what really affected you, because then it's super honest. Question?
What is your greatest fear as a duo?
That's a good question. Thank you. We really have to think about this. We weren't prepared for an audience that's really awake because we thought we're going to school. No, it's a really good question. Maybe it's this thing that we all do this based on friendship, and you know how it is with friends. Sometimes it can get really annoying, and but the good thing is we have a very good system of detecting when the other one is not really in a good mood. So we need to, although we have so much responsibility when we sign up for a show or when we promise we are going to go to Hawaii and we paint this huge wall, but when one of us doesn't really feel it, we have to make sure to help out. We cannot be pushy and saying, hey, you know, this is a job, we have to be this. So it's actually always friendship first. So that means we'll have to turn something down if we can't handle it while staying friends. So I think that's a good one. I mean, it's not like, you know, I don't think money's ever that important that you have to, you know, just be mean to the ones you love. So I think, yeah. All right. Next question.
But is it an answer to your question? Because I don't
Well,
get your point.
we're feared. I'm feared that in terms of Herakut, that yeah, I mean the biggest fear would be to lose him in a way. Oh my God. How did it? All right. Something. I saw a hand. Yes.
You've been in this industry long enough. What drives you?
That's what we make is our hobby. And the same. I think it's the same in part as you love to play soccer or something like this. So it's, if you want, it doesn't feel like a job. And actually, we with our university background, we have backup for other jobs. So we make this as long as we have fun with it. So.
Right, what drives us is the ability to play, okay? Oh, yeah. So I wanted to show you this. So what drives us is one thought chasing the next. So for example, on one side you see a canvas that we made, and I liked the shape so much that I was thinking, hey, I'm just gonna make a sculpture of this now. And it's just this playfulness, you know, you have one thing and you, for example, that's why we like chopping up canvases. So you paint something that you liked, and then you just take scissors or a knife and you cut it out and you put it on the floor, and then you have another piece, you put it on the floor, you mix it, you play with it, and then you have a stupid thought. So I don't know if you can even, can you read what it says on this canvas? You get it? So it's this was actually funny because I thought so much about idolizing and all that, and the gold thing and the gold calf and the Bible and all, you know, how it's so bad. But I was really thinking, damn, what does the calf think? Like, you know, what is the whole cow family thing? Like, you know, it comes home and it's like, everyone hates me because I'm golden. And then the little kid is like, oh, I don't want to go to school, they're so mean. And then also the school bus, as you might notice, the one down there where it's playing with the little cows, it's actually one of those transports. Okay, sorry, I'm explaining too much. You're so bright, you already get it. But this is us. This is just like one thing leads to the next. You know, we're playful. So the question, what drives us is really that we're still kids who cannot stop commenting on the world in a stupid way. For example, here, you know Damien Hirst? I mean, not personally, but you know his work. And you know Jeff Koons? So when those guys got, you know, so much attention 5 years ago or something, we just had to comment. I mean, we just thought about this so much. It's so funny that how can you make so much money with those balloon dogs? So, she was hollow, but so sexy. And so you see this guy, so we've always been painting dogs, and you can see he's admiring her, standing there with 2 cups, like, you know, I brought you a drink. So as I say, it's just plain out stupid stuff. Right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, sorry. One more question.
so different techniques that we don't need to talk about what the outline is every time Jasmine and the realistic part is every time mine. So, and there is not really a fixed rhythm. Sometimes Jasmine starts, sometimes me start, I start, and it's then back and forward till we think can this maybe finish.
Or the wall. So I looked this one up. So this is the first lines that he talked about, and I'll do them. And it's always nice to do them with spray cans because I told you it has so much pressure that you really have to work hard and not think fast and not think too much. And then the next step would be him jumping in and adding those like the natural looking stuff. So while I'm still, doing my little tattoos, he would add the layer that's like the skin. I'm the skeleton and he's the skin, always. So I define basically the position, the whole gesture, and he will define how much does it need. So in this case, this is in Melbourne. It's in a very fancy area, and we painted this. So the last thing we do is find the writing, and that's something I write, but we both always agree on it. So in this case, it was no reason to be scared. It was actually something we meant in many different ways, because people who go shopping there, they don't have to be scared because there's this huge
but this
graffiti.
message get another meaning there because it's a Hall of Fame, and the people starting going over it. So, and it's very interesting. If you make a little research for Herakut in Melbourne, you will find this, and you will find a lot of stages where it's add more and more color over the character. So,
and it was also for
so
us. It was
thinking
meant.
and
It was
feeling.
meant for us because it was the first day in Melbourne. So like we don't have to be scared because the city is so big. And really, there's no reason to be scared of Melbourne. You should be worried that they fall asleep while they talk to you, but this is such a lazy place. It's crazy. This was another one we did there. And it's so funny. This was painted over by graffiti kids, and then other graffiti kids came and sort of restored it, like fixed it. It's so fun. It's one good thing about them. Okay. One more question. I saw someone. Oh, okay. Now we have two. We'll do the girl first. Go first. Always.
What do you do when you lose inspiration? I mean, like art block.
The last sentence was?
I mean, when you experience art block.
There is no such thing.
No, not really. It's,
That's just something the pharmacy, the pharma people come up with, and they want to sell you pills, and don't listen to them.
The thing is, our way to work is like diary telling, so diary writing, and just give every time something to write about.
There's always something to write about. You know what? If you have art block, or you think, it's so funny, it's like, no, I don't want to say it. It's like art with an F or something.
Okay.
But, so you just, you can just paint about that. Like buy 10 canvases and say, I have art block, I have art block, and then you sell it. Really, it's just, don't ever think your brain is empty. That's not true. Maybe you just need another medium. Maybe you just need another brush or another hand. Try doing stuff with the left hand or something. I don't know. And that's another thing. I think we're actually so spoiled that we assume that everything needs to be perfect. The studio needs to be perfect. We need the paint. We need the right music. We need all of this. But when you go, you guys, when you have art block, you should go to Quiapo. We went there on Sunday. And then you should look at the creativity of those people with the pedicabs, and how they look. It's so creative. They just take tape and whatever, and those are so creative. So it's always, if you don't have enough material, get more. And don't buy expensive material. Like some of it, yes, but usually don't, because that for me personally, that was always pressuring. Because then I would think, oh damn, I invested so much money in this canvas and it's so perfect and white and I don't know what to do with it. So what I did, I would just go to a pizza, pizza delivery service, like pizza place, and get the extra large box, and would take wallpaper glue and newspaper and tape it like around it, so it actually has the shape of a big canvas, and it's very light and very cheap. And then you can just paint on it. And you have so many canvases, they cost nothing, so if you mess them up, who cares? But if you do something great, that's so cool. So I think it's better to have, you have more freedom if you haven't put so much money on the, into it. So I don't know if you get it, but just try it.
The next one.
Oh yeah, sorry, there was one. Oh yeah, blue shirt.
Was Herakut like your initial career at the start, like your bread and butter, or did you have like separate careers and then you just ventured into it?
At the time where we met, we was both in other graffiti projects involved. So I had my crew with 3 other guys, and Jasmine got also her crew. But
Yeah, but they sucked. I had a crew with 4 guys who envied me. Like they were jealous because I got more attention because I was the girl. And I think that's so bad. If you work with people who cannot be happy for you, that's so bad. It's just that, I don't know, it felt really wrong. And I kind of have to go back to the art block thing again, here. We have experienced that. So I was just, I just have to tell you, to be really honest with you. I'm preaching now, but I have been there. So it was all the pressure, and it was also wrong companions. So it was the false friends that I had who were just in the way. And this here is a symbol for the art block. The guy in the middle has an empty head, okay? So it's the emptiness you feel sometimes when you have to come up with something good and creative for an assignment. Then, you just feel like you're dead, like your head is already dry and empty. But then I would say make that your subject and pity yourself, like with the little dog. It's like, oh, poor one. Yeah. I really don't want to bore you. You know what I'd like to do? I would like for you to take all the stuff that you heard and go to work. And create something beautiful and send us photos. So if you need inspiration, it's always kind of good to go to the old masters or artists. Go to a bookshop. Go and check out the artwork that has made it. So, do you know that painting? This is not a pipe. Yeah. So this is not a pipe in there. So okay. So this was the situation. So we were just thinking, maybe this inspired. Who did the painting again? Magritte. So we were thinking of the situation that led to Magritte's painting. So it was probably those guys, and then the guy here selling something, and he said, "No, this is not a pipe." This was probably how it was. And they were so stupid, like they didn't get it. No head. And then Warhol, okay, the whole Campbell thing. So we like watching stuff like Futurama and that. So the crab guy who can only walk. Yeah. So what's his name again? I don't know, but it's Cyber. Yeah, right. So, and then we also were thinking about all the waste that goes into the ocean, and so the stupid Campbell soups and that. So this is a play that we had. This is a word play, or just one of those mix-ups. We took everything together, and this is what came out. To some, it's trash. To me, it's home. I think that's pretty much what we are. Yeah, we just make the trash our home mentally. And there's so much trash. So it's a big home. Anything?
No questions anymore? Yes.
When like say either one of you has an idea, how do you translate it to your partner or with the people you work with to make it like nicer?
We use our mouths and sometimes also email.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I sent him an email, very official.
We need to talk about something.
Yeah, we need to talk. But it's this talk. And then don't think too much and discuss it too much. Because what happens when you have one good idea, you talk about it, then there's another good idea and another good idea, and then you don't even know, like, you already spent so much time talking that you already forgot what you wanted to do. So just for this again, we paint on cardboard a lot because, as I said, it's cheap, and this is what we did in New York. And here, for example, I found your humor. And the guy says, oh, I didn't think I had lost it. So this is not really an idea, it's just something that we would be talking about, then we do it right there. We paint it right there. So sometimes it's really good not to be too philosophical, I guess. This is how we think our humor looks inside of us. This little bean, super weird looking. Oh, and this is something that is a symbol for when you see too much. Like when you have, well, I assume most of you guys are really sensitive, emotionally open to everything, so also to the bad side of things, right? So when you sometimes see too much grief and pain and war stuff, the news, it can be too much, and then you can just, when you feel overwhelmed, and the guy here, the symbol, you might notice he doesn't have arms. So it's another symbol for not being able to react. So he sees everything, but he cannot do anything about it.
His name is Seymour.
Yeah, his name is Seymour, right? That's right. And we would always, when we do something, we always like to show a bad side of things. Like, this is the status quo. That's where we started off. We started from the dark spot in life. But then we want to come to the point where we say, this might be a solution. So in case of you feeling down and overwhelmed, you need a good friend that can be like, hey, but I have hands, and I can at least stroke you. I cannot solve the problems of the world, but I can be there to pet you. So, I don't know, you just have to, this all looks so serious, but we're actually having so much fun when we work. Oh yeah, here's one. I don't want to talk too much anymore. I kind of have to say, there's some McDonald's bag sitting right here, and it's just screaming my name.
Just
it really does have my name on it. So, but here's. Okay, and this is another fun one. I think it's so cute. So, no, it's just really, we have the best job because we don't have to take ourselves too serious. And I think we only have that job because we always wanted to be liked by people. And we were no athletes, so no one would be cheering if we throw the ball. And we suck at singing. We cannot do anything really but be creative, painting and drawing. So I think that's really probably the truth, that we do so much and we work so hard, and through the great internet and globalization, we finally found a family out there in the world who wants to work with us. And I think that's something, money can't give you. So.
make you richer.
Right?